Welcome back. These assignment screencasts focus on editing my example templates into documents which reflect your project. For background information on the assignments, please listen to or read that week's discussion. For detailed information on how to do the assignments, download that week's homework instructions. Let's get started by downloading the first assignment now. Here we go. The first thing to do is to rename it by highlighting my name at the top and typing your name right over the top of that. And then save the document under a new name, keeping my original example intact for future use. Next, go ahead and date the document and don't forget to include the year. This is incredibly important for project management. There's nothing more frustrating than arriving at the end of a 3-year project, ready to prepare a final report for the donor, only to discover that you have a stack of undated documents. It can be very difficult to determine the sequence of events. What are the reasons for using the templates that I provide? 1, they are a well-designed and reusable starting point for developing new projects. 2, speed. Using the templates will mean less class time, and when you use the templates for future projects, you will be able to develop new project documents quickly through simple editing. 3, each assignment builds on the previous assignment, so maintaining the format found in the template is important. This speeds up document development because we will be copying and pasting from previous assignments into new assignments. Let's get started. In the Assignment 1 Needs Assessment, you created a set of drawings or perhaps a chart to capture community member perception of their needs and challenges. You then likely laid the drawings or the chart on a table and asked participants to each place 10 voting tokens on the problems that seemed the most important to them. They could place all 10 voting tokens on one single problem or spread them around several problems. You then created a new chart which prioritized the problems based upon their votes. So now, start in the first paragraph of Assignment 1 and change the name of the community, the country, and the number of people in the community to reflect your project. Then, enter in the prioritized problems here, identified by your community members, into my Assignment 1 example chart. Then, put in the votes that each challenge received. So we will now have a simple chart prioritized by the most important in the eyes of the community. From your newly revised chart, pick the 2 most human-oriented, compelling problems. Keep them short and focused on one concept. Simply copy them from the vote results and paste them into the problem section of the outline. We want to keep these problems short. They're really just a bullet point at this stage of the game. You might want to take a moment right now to differentiate problems from causes and negative impacts before pasting in your problems. For example, my community members identified stunting as being their biggest single challenge. However, the 2 underlying causes beneath stunting, chronic diarrhea and chronic undernutrition, are more human scale and compelling, so I decided to use them as my 2 project problems. So simply copy from your chart and paste into your problem outline. A bit of advice. I'm going to suggest that you keep your project simple and short. A project that looks short in this preliminary outline will grow as you begin adding activities. Donors also like short, simple, clearly defined projects. And you will also be learning a lot over the next few weeks, and we don't want a big project complicating the learning process. Next, look through your vote results and your notes from the workshop and see if you can find underlying causes for the problems that you identified. Add 1 or at the most 2 underlying causes for each problem to the outline. Much like with problems, these causes should be short, succinct, and identify one concept. Don't be tempted to embed multiple concepts into a single line item. Simply copy them from the vote results and paste them into the underlying causes section. So for example, I'm going to copy from my chart the line on food shortages and paste it into my underlying causes. I'm also going to add a lack of knowledge of health, hygiene, and nutrition that I found I had written down in the notes that I made during the workshop. Next, look through your notes and the vote results and see if you can find what might be long-term negative impacts. Again, these are meant to be short and succinct. We're not writing a proposal yet. So for example, chronically sick little children may not be able to participate effectively in school, which may reduce their chances for successful adulthood. Try and keep your negative impact statements this simple. Now, let's compile the problem statement. The problem statement is nothing more than collapsing the problems, their underlying causes, and the negative impact statement into one paragraph. Restrict the problem statement to what's in the outline above. I typically start off by going to the very top paragraph here and copying the number of children or people or families and the name of the town into the beginning of my problem statement in the first half of the sentence. I will then paste in the first problem, Control C, and paste it in after the description of the community, and also copy the underlying cause that relates to that problem and paste it in to the second half of the sentence. You can then go ahead and copy, in my case, the second problem here, chronically undernourished children, and then paste in the underlying cause which relates to that. Now you simply copy the negative impact statement and paste it into the last half of your problem statement, and you're done. So far, this whole document has been copy and paste work. This accomplishes two things. It speeds up the process, and also, very importantly, it means that as we advance from assignment to assignment, they are direct reflections of each other. So, for example, by the time we get to lecture 22, and you have a document to present to a donor, it will represent the same information that was represented in this, the first assignment. This is very important for the simple reason that if your project outline is a little different than your logical framework, which is a little different than your budget, which is a little different than your schedule, then all of the people working in different functions on your team, such as project managers, field staff, and bookkeepers, will each be working on slightly different projects if each one of their management documents are different. You want everybody to be working on the same project by using absolutely parallel documents. Okay, now you have a simple project outline and a project statement based upon your needs assessment with your community. Looks great, don't you think? Go ahead now and move on to assignment 2, where you will begin adding solution-oriented activities to your problem outline.